following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is Mick Shots.
Streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app.
Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
And it is a happy Monday inside the SWBC Mortgage Studios where Mickey Spagnola is for this edition of Mick Shots. I'm Bill Jones. It's happy in my home office, and it's happy in Everson Wall's home office as well, because the Cowboys somehow,
yes,
winners on Sunday afternoon at AT&T Stadium. Okay, here's what I said. I stole the line from Jack Buck when Kirk Gibson came out of the clubhouse and hit a home run in the World Series against Dennis Eckersley and the A's in 1988. I don't believe what I just saw. That's what I said when Greg Zuerlein had the most unique onside kick I've seen since Tony Fritsch in 1972.
I remember that one. He had the right foot went behind the left foot, right?
That's right.
Remember that one? Yes.
Behind the back onside
behind the ankle, behind the calf.
Right.
Yeah.
Bill, you got company?
Spags, you don't remember that one, do you?
I probably wasn't intimately watching the Cowboys in 1972.
We're gonna delete you from this conversation
all I got in college was either the Cardinals or the Chiefs. That's all we got.
Oh well, yeah, you saw the Cowboys kick plenty butt then. If
I saw
that's
those,
good stuff.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
I like Brad Sham's final words was after we kicked the field goal, kiss that pig. I believe it. Kiss that pig. I love that one. There was an ugly win, but it was still extremely exciting. So I guess kiss that pig would be the one that pretty much captures everything about that game.
Yeah, if they could have just started in the second half, there wouldn't have been a pig. You would have said, "Oh, what a remarkable performance!" Right? Getting rid of the first quarter. Jeez. Oh, Pete.
Oh,
maybe
man.
they thought it was a 3 o'clock start. I don't know, but it sure didn't work out at noon for them for sure.
Well, we were, the Falcons were on East Coast time, so they should have been the ones that had the wake-up issues because they came out extremely aggressive. I don't know if they saw something in film or whatever, but they came out just punching at the ball every time they had a chance. Sometimes it wasn't just fumbles. I mean, it was a calculated effort to knock the ball out of our receivers' hands, and that's including Zeke Elliott. So,
and it was Zeke's high school teammate doing it.
Ola Coop, how do you say
it?
He
knew something. He knew something. That's what it was. That's from an old school game plan that he came out with on that one. So. Very unusual game, very ugly game. I got to tell you guys. But in the end, I did not care how ugly we won. Let's face it, guys. We have lost so many games in that same fashion. So I'm not going to, douse water on this win, as little as I can. I mean, there's things that we have to sort out. But, we are so accustomed to losing games like this. I'm not going to be ashamed to say that I was happy that we won a game that we should have lost. Let's just be real. We should have lost, so let's just we get to flip the script on all those guys, all those fans that are against the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, how would you like to be in the Falcons' shoes and sitting there going, well, we should have won and you didn't? I think that's probably even worse.
We've been there. That's the problem.
Right? Yeah, I think that's even worse.
We've been there so many times. That's the issue.
So
right.
I just thought, if you can get past the start and basically get past the majority of the defensive possessions other than the one that they had to have, from an offensive standpoint, I mean, 570 yards. Think about that. Dak threw for 450 yards. It's rather remarkable with the protection he was facing or wasn't facing, didn't have, and playing with 2 undrafted offensive tackles, one a rookie, the other one in his second year starting his second game, and you still threw for 450 yards. I mean, I just thought that was the most remarkable performance under those circumstances and falling behind so many times that you would ever see in a football game. So my point on this whole game, you guys, is I don't want to hear nothing else about Dak can't do this and Dak can't do that. He can't come from behind. He can't win a close game. The guy's got 15 come-from-behind victories since the start of the 2016 season, and that ties him for the most with some guy named Drew Brees along with Derek Carr. So stop the nonsense from now on, okay? That's my point on this show.
And it's so weird, Spags. You will still find commentary that talks about how his receivers basically bailed him out on so many different occasions. And as I look at, so many great quarterbacks that are human, and we still give them the benefit of the doubt. Dak has always been that guy. They will concentrate so much. There will always be an asterisk by any stat that Dak Prescott throws up there. The asterisk is always going to be the key. And I think that's extremely unfair for a guy who's got the heart that he has.
Okay, I got a question for you. Do you want me to do something about my dog, Romo?
Please do.
It's not bothering me one bit.
Go
Romo,
feed your dogs. Go feed your dogs.
I got 2 beagles, Bo and Romo, and I've got the gate up to where they're supposed to be in the kitchen. It sounds like they might have got out, and Romo is the one barking in the background. And I think he's barking because he's upset because Dak has now matched Romo with 400-yard games in his career. But these 2 beagles, they were born in 2007, so they're 13 years old. Romo's first year as a starter, and we named one Romo, and the other one I wanted to name T.O., but my wife and daughters said no, we get to name this one.
I'm sure Romo doesn't want. Don't rename Bo Dak, because Romo would really be pissed off.
Okay, so I'm leaving for 1 second to go close my office door so we don't hear Romo as well. So
we don't need you, Bill. We don't need you.
And Everson, one of the remarkable things was that that was when the Cowboys fell behind by 20 points to start the game. That was their largest deficit to come back. Second largest deficit to come back and win the game. And I was looking at the other games, and I was there. Well, now I'm there for 4 of the top 5. The largest deficits they had were 21 points. That was the season opener against St. Louis in 2014. My first game I covered for the Dallas Times-Herald of a Cowboys game was that Sunday night game against the New Orleans Saints in 1984. It was the overtime victory. It had fallen behind by 21 points, and remember, it came back in that last minute or 2 with 2 touchdowns to tie it up. I believe it was a Randy White forced fumble that Jim Jeffcoat recovered in the end zone. Kenny Stabler was the quarterback.
And Ken Stabler was a quarterback, and I have never seen Randy White act like such a child ever in my life.
That was hilarious. Remember that video of him?
Watching him jump up and down after he forced that fumble was the funniest thing I had ever seen. And it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen, because you're watching the manster of all people, who's one of the most honorary people you ever want to meet. I think he was the more prouder of himself at that moment than he has ever been in his entire life. It was great to see.
When I remember, it was like he was jumping on a pogo stick.
Yes. Like a little. I can imitate it, but I won't do it right now since I'm the one that's. I'm the one that's standing.
All over again.
You know what? In that game, if you remember, it was a Sunday night game, and it started late because the presidential debates went long, and and to set the stage for it, I think that at the time maybe the Cowboys were 4-3, and they were you were falling off the face. And Randy Galloway in the Dallas Morning News basically wrote an entire column that the Cowboys were dead, that they were they're going to lose this game, and the Cowboys are dead, right? Well, remember Tex used to sit in the press box, and he sat right in the row right behind me. And this is my first game, and I don't, know what the protocol is or anything. And he's grumping up there, and everybody's on deadline because the game started late. And basically everybody had written their stories, right, ready to go, just needed the final score. And then the Cowboys come back and tie it up, and it goes into overtime, and you hear everybody banging the tables, right? And Tex leans out. He leans out and he yells, "Hey, Randy, you look dead." And then the Cowboys end up winning the game in overtime. And then the other one was the season opener in 1999 when they fell behind like 35-7 or something like that. And Troy Aikman came back with 3 touchdowns to tie it up near the right at the end, and then threw the deep ball to Rocket Ishmael after Rocket had dropped the same pattern earlier in the game, and the name of the play was Red Glare, so it was a Rocket Red Glare. So the only one I missed.
Don't forget.
The only one I missed was 83, so Everson would have been there against the Redskins, down 20 points.
Yes.
And it looks like that was the season opener, too.
One of the reasons we were down 20 points. I was one of the reasons we were down 20 points. The Redskins had figured out our flex defensive coverage. They realized that you could easily put the Cowboys from a zone into a man-to-man just by the positioning of the backs. And Coach Joe Gibbs figured that out. And that was the first time we had started seeing what you called hitch routes. They had eaten us alive. They would put us in a man-to-man situation, and they would throw 5-yard routes knowing that we always covered off from a zone position because that was the zone call out of the huddle. And what it did was put us at an extreme disadvantage, isolating the cornerbacks one-on-one. So they would have the little fun bunch that they had, those little Smurfs, I believe is what they called them. I think Howard Cosell started calling them Smurfs. So they had the little Smurfs out there, and they would catch the ball, a lot of distance between us and them. They would shake us down. Next thing you know, they have a drive going down the field. We're down like 23-3, if I'm not mistaken. All of a sudden, we decide to change up the defense and go to a cover 2. Now you can't run those hitch routes. They could not make the adjustments. The Redskins could not make the adjustments. Tony Hill and Danny White start to go off. I remember Tony Hill going down the sidelines and just eating up their DBs alive. I think he caught 2 touchdowns passes in that game, and we ended up coming back and winning that game. At that time, that was our most, I think it was our most, the biggest comeback we had ever had in Cowboy history up until that point. I don't know if I,
yes,
how,
no,
how
you're right,
wrong I am about that.
Because the 21-point deficit came in 84, 99, and 2014. So, yeah, you're absolutely right.
And we also did that in RFK Stadium as well. So the second half of that game, you would have thought it was a COVID game because you could not hear anyone in the stands but Cowboy fans in RFK. The best feeling in the world.
Bill,
Love
are you good? Are you done dog sitting?
Oh yeah. I've been enjoying the conversation. We're up against a break, but let me give you. Now you were just listing the top comebacks in Cowboys history in terms of how many points they were down, overcoming deficits, 20 and 21 point deficits, the top 5 in Cowboys history. I put this game and the way it finished, the last minute comeback, in my top 5 favorite Cowboy comebacks of all time. And I start in 1972 with the playoff game against San Francisco, the game we alluded to earlier. Tony Fritsch had the onside kick, and Roger had 2 touchdown passes, one to Billy Parks and the other to Ron Sellers. I think that was the game where Larry Cole was rolling around on the sideline. That's right. They were down 28-16 with 2 minutes left, and they came back and won 30-28. I'm doing this in chronological order. The second one is the Hail Mary with 32 seconds left of the game. The next one would be Rodgers' last regular season game in 1979, which is 2 touchdowns in the last couple of minutes. One to Ron Springs,
also to the
other to Tony
right?
Hill. Yeah,
also
against Washington, 35-34. And then I'll fast forward all the way to 2007, and Tony Romo throws 5 picks against Buffalo Monday Night Football, and the Cowboys come back, and they scored 10 points in the last 20 seconds of that game, a touchdown pass, and then a Nick Folk onside kick, and with 6 seconds left. And then with 2 seconds left, he kicks a 53-yard field goal to win it. Yes. And then I'll put this one in as number 5 on the list. There's others in there, but for me, those are my 5 all-time favorites.
And those are good favorites, Bill.
Okay. All right. When we come back, let's break down what went wrong and what went right
on
Sunday afternoon. And we'll need all week to discuss this, but Mick Shots continues in a moment.
Hey there, Cowboys fans. With Tide Cleaners at-home pickup and delivery, cleaning your clothes has never been more convenient. Simply sign up at your local store, set out your dirty clothes, and one of our Tide Cleaners professionals will come directly to your home for a totally contactless experience. Your clean garments will be returned promptly the next scheduled delivery day, so skip the errand and enjoy life, not laundry. Visit TideCleaners.com or your local store to sign up for Tide Cleaners at-home pickup and delivery today.
Make the most of summer with Ford, America's best-selling brand, during the Ford Summer Sales Event. With great offers on a huge selection of Ford SUVs and the largest selection of truck inventory to choose from. Get huge offers across the Ford lineup. So grab the family and head out. Ford's helping you make the most out of summer. It's easier now during the Ford Summer Sales Event. Based on 2019 calendar year total sales. Based on Autodata compact and full-size stock inventory as of June 2020.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
I'm Jay Novacek, former tight end for the Dallas Cowboys. Back in the day, I was the guy who always got the tough yards, and that's why I run with John Deere today. In fact, I have a John Deere 3025E tractor that can handle any yard work I need to do, even the tough yards way out back. So if you have 1 acre or 1,000, John Deere has the equipment that's just right for you. Visit a John Deere dealer today and run with us. We are the official tractor provider of your Dallas Cowboys.
Back to Mick Shots.
Let Dallas Cowboys Rhythm and Blue entertain you with some of the best hip-hop talent in the area, whether it's the high-energy co-ed dance team or the dynamic drum line. Either can be booked to provide a unique and unforgettable experience for your virtual or in-person event. Visit DallasCowboys.com/DCRB for more information or to book today. What a win for the Cowboys on Sunday, 40-39 over the Atlanta Falcons, and now the Seattle Seahawks this week. And then what a win for Seattle last night over New England, 35-30, as New England had the ball down at the 1-yard line, and Cam Newton was stopped short by a TCU Horned Frog, Mr. Collier, former first-round draft pick, making the play. But we'll get into the Seahawks as the week progresses. There's so much to break down on Sunday's game. First off, I just love having fans in the stands. I don't care whether they are just a smattering of fans or not, but I like the fact that there were fans in the stands.
And it's so funny. No matter how small the amount of fans, you could still hear the boos. The boos were real loud.
right at halftime. 21,708. Yeah, and they were all kind of spaced out, and I don't know. I don't know if TV showed many shots of the stands. But they showed how everybody was spaced out. Now, there would be groups of people, and remember, you could buy as many as 6, and they put you in a pod. But if you were 6 in a row, there was nobody sitting in front of you and nobody sitting behind you. And then the next row had some more people that way. And so they spaced everything out. And the only thing I noticed was those masks didn't last for 4 quarters on the majority of the people sitting there.
I mean, did you expect them to at all?
No.
There's no way you can keep your mask on.
Well, that's because they were eating and drinking.
Yes, right.
And that, of course, yes.
And screaming
all of that has something to do with it.
And screaming their brains out, right?
You can't boo effectively with a mask on. It just doesn't work.
Well, there was a lot to boo on 4 of the first 5 possessions.
Well, in the first quarter, I mean, it reminded me of the way the 1994 NFC Championship game began.
Yeah.
It
was played in 94
season.
Yeah. No, it was the 94 season. Yeah, sorry.
94 season.
Yes.
Yeah, 94 season, January 95. The 3 turnovers that San Francisco turned into 21 points the first 7 or 8 minutes of the game, whatever it was. And then throw in a fake punt that didn't work as well. So the Cowboys actually could have been farther down than what they were at the end of the first quarter, but they were, as it was, down 20-0.
Yeah, they were able to, those last 2 possessions, the 4th and 5th one, they held them to field goals after the fake punt failed, which should have worked if C.J. Goodwin had kept his feet. He slipped and fell. And then Dalton Schultz loses the fumble.
Oh, you're going to put that on C.J.?
Well, you didn't think
that was a horrible pass.
He fell before the pass got there.
A great athlete. I keep hearing about what a great athlete our punter is, and he throws a duck. It never should have been that difficult, guys.
He'd fallen before the ball ever got there.
He did slip.
No, he was on the ground.
There's no reason. There was no reason for him to even have to be on the ground. That ball should have hit him in the chest. That's all. That's a horrible pass.
That's the problem with running a fake punt when Danny White's not the punter.
Preach, Bill.
You're throwing a pass to a defensive back, not to a wide receiver.
No. It depends on the defensive back. Let's be real about that. Okay?
Yeah, okay. Unless the defensive back has 57 interceptions in his career, then you can run that fake punt to a cornerback.
I just really felt that this was one of the ugliest wins we've ever had. I said it earlier. And even when we started off the fourth quarter, I mean, you talk about the first part of the game, of course, these fumbles, Schultz finally gets to make a catch. He's looking forward to having a good game. They punch the ball out on him. Zeke comes out. I don't know how. Zeke fumbled twice, if I'm not mistaken. They only recovered 1.
Yes.
And so we could have been in a much better situation, worse situation. And the other thing I say is, I can't believe I'm giving the defense credit after a game that ended up 40-39. Because when you look at 3 of those 4 turnovers, they actually held, which was unusual. They actually held the Falcons to a couple of field goals, which, when it's a game like this, every victory helps. Any individual win, any situational win helps in a game like this, because as we go on, we will note many times where that particular play kind of held the game in balance. So this is one of those just topsy-turvy games.
Well, if you look at the defense's part in this, after the first 2 possessions, the Falcons scored on 8 of 10 possessions. 8 of 10. All right, and the one they stopped him, they had to stop him to get the ball back, and that was the first sack of the game. Everson Griffin got a sack on second down, which led to them having to actually punt the ball.
And Mickey, the other one, Julio Jones, dropped a touchdown pass.
Yes, absolutely. So they were like over after the first two possessions. Yet when they needed to get the stop to create that next possession for the Cowboys offense, they got it somehow, some way, which was rather remarkable because the defense, I'll tell you what, they better hurry because that front gave Matt Ryan the time of day in the pocket to the point where he's running out and gaining yards when no one's open. We talked all training camp about this pass rush, this, and this. And it's non-existent. They're not getting there. I don't know what the deal is, but they're not even coming close to putting pressure on an opposing quarterback. And now they got it next week, next Sunday with Russell Wilson. And this guy, if you don't get pressure on him, he's either completing it or he's running by you. So they better figure it out real quick.
Russell Wilson last night against the number one defense in the league last year, which returned virtually all of their secondary, is back this year, and he threw 5 touchdown passes to 5 different receivers last night.
Yeah, if he doesn't get picked off, didn't he get picked off for a touchdown right at the start of the game? And then after that,
Devin McCourty to start the game at a pick 6. Yeah.
And then after that, the roof caved in. So, this defense, you got to score 40 points to win a game. You gain 500, despite the turnovers, they gained 570 yards. 570 yards, 450 passing, scored 40 points, and you had to score 40 to win by 1. It's just absolutely remarkable. So, this defense is starting to look like stuff I saw in that 2013 season when they gave up 45, 37, 49, 31, and 51 to Denver and got beat 51-48. So they better figure things out quickly.
Well, the thing that I can point out as well, the Falcons did their best to give us the game. And there were moments where we were like, nah, we don't want it. You can have it. You can have this game. We'll go 0-2. We'll be fine with that. That's just the way that game seemed to go out. As many mistakes as we made, the Falcons probably made a few more. I thought one instance, it was a very understated moment, but while the Falcons are up with all these points and the clock in their favor, I believe it was around 4-something left in the game, they throw the ball on like 2nd and 10 or something like that. There was no reason for them to even attempt to throw a ball at that time. The Cowboys hadn't stopped them doing anything. When they threw that ball, that stopped the clock. I think we ended up getting the ball back again with about 3:30 left. If they would have just kept running the ball, the Cowboys would probably have gotten that ball around the 2-minute warning at the end of the game, still down by 15. So just small things in that game where the Falcons really showed how they're just as incompetent as we are as Dallas Cowboys. I've never seen a game where it seemed like two teams really didn't want to win. They just wanted to go out there, and I think they wanted to extend the game. They looked like they wanted to just play more.
Well, that probably, Everson, was when they ended up, there was 4:39 left. The Cowboys had called a timeout. It was 2nd and 12, and that's when Griffin sacked Ryan to make it 3rd and 18 and forced them to punt, and the Cowboys got the ball back with 2:57 left, down 39-30. And then that's where things even got more interesting, right?
Yeah.
But to your point, I think he was on the previous possession. If we were on Atlanta Falcons radio today, we'd be talking about the previous possession where they're ahead 36-24, and I don't have the time. It was with about 8 or 9 minutes left in the game, and they've got a 1st and 10 at the 12-yard line. They ran Gurley for 4, and then on 2nd down, second and 6, they throw an incomplete pass, and on 3rd and 6, they throw an incomplete pass. They could have, if they run the ball there, they've got a 12-point lead, and they wound up kicking a field goal anyway. On 2nd and 3rd down, they could have run a minute off the clock. And
that's what I'm talking about.
Giving the Cowboys the ball back with a 15-point lead, they gave the ball back with 7:57 left. There would have been 6:57 left. I mean, it was things like that. You make offensive play calling decisions like that, and you're going to blow a 28-3 Super Bowl lead.
And you know what? That was the first time. You know what? That was the first time I think Aldon Smith actually, you knew he was in the game because he got pressures on both of those incomplete passes. And they finally got around Ryan on 2nd and 7 and 3rd and 7 at the 9. Yeah, they got a little greedy. You're exactly right, because the Cowboys did get the ball back with 7:57 to go.
All right, we're going to take a break here, and let's talk about who really stood out for you when the Cowboys made their comeback. There's several players who stood out, but who's the top of the list for you? And the Cowboys come from behind win over the Falcons on Sunday. That's when Mick Shots continues in just a moment.
Hey there, Cowboys fans. With Tide Cleaners at-home pickup and delivery, cleaning your clothes has never been more convenient. Simply sign up at your local store, set out your dirty clothes, and one of our Tide Cleaners professionals will come directly to your home for a totally contactless experience. Your clean garments will be returned promptly the next scheduled delivery day, so skip the errand and enjoy life, not laundry. Visit TideCleaners.com or your local store to sign up for Tide Cleaners at-home pickup and delivery today.
Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Want to show your Texas and team pride too? You can. By purchasing your own Stetson, you can look just like how the flag guys do on field at every home game. Stetson hats, the official crown of all self-respecting Cowboys and your favorite football team.
Get yours today at shop.dallascowboys.com or at stetson.com.
What do you call a group of grown men and women who get together every week, proudly wearing the star, to share a 3-hour-long ritual of cheering, shouting at the TV, and raising their Miller Lite together while yelling, "How about them boys?" You call it Miller Time and Cowboys Nation. Here's to the only beer of the Cowboys celebrating 60 years of greatness. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. 2020 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Hey, Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo Quiero guacamole.
Back to Mick Shots.
Celebrating styles and designs worn by players and coaches over the last 60 years, the Dallas Cowboys Pro Shop introduces the new era 1960 headwear collection. Find the full assortment at your nearest Cowboys Pro Shop and on shop.dallascowboys.com.
All right, do you remember who your picks to click were on Friday?
Everson Walls reminded me right at the end of the game.
Over there. Why are you smiling so much, Spagnola? He is, he just pulled that out of his butt last week, and all of a sudden Zuerlein comes and does what he does.
You called the onside kick?
Well, I think I called like 4 field goals or something like that, and he would hit the game winner. So basically, I get credit for the onside kick too, right? I don't think I've ever seen.
Yes, you do, sir.
I'm not sure I've ever seen one like that. It was almost, you know what? I thought that they were going to call a quick kick. You know, like in baseball, you quick pick somebody. He quick kicked it. Because I think they thought he was standing there, set the ball up parallel to the line of scrimmage on the ground, and then he was going to back up. But he just stood there flat-footed and kicked it. And the thing went like sideways, and it kept going and going and going. And, And C.J. Goodwin, God bless him, he had the patience to know where he was and when to pounce on the ball. It was incredible.
There was a reason he was the special teams captain yesterday.
Yeah,
C.J. Goodwin.
Absolutely.
And
let's be. One thing I've always known about great plays like that, and I've been a part of them, of course. Great plays happen for one team because of the failure of the opposition. The failure of the opposition has as much to do with the completion of a great play than the team that made the play, than them being able to carry through with it. I've always said that. So when you're going to make a great play like Goodwin did, well, it was because of the ignorance of the Falcons special teams. And let me finish, Bill. Hold up, Bill. Let me finish. Yeah. Here's what's crazy. They called the timeout when they saw what Spags was just illustrating, just what he's talking about. So what the hell did they talk about during the timeout if they do not know that they can touch the ball before 10 yards? That made it even more ridiculous, guy, in my eyes.
And what really made it ridiculous, we've all known since we started playing football when we were 7, 8 years old what the rules are on an onside kick, right? I mean, and to think about it, okay, when the coaches are in their special teams meeting in Atlanta, all right, you are going to have to fall on that football at some point. You might as well do it before it goes 10 yards, where it is uncontested, where you jump on the football. Your chances of recovering it are much better if the other guy's not jumping on the pile at the same time, right?
They could have had 3 guys jump on it. One guy could have jumped on it, and 2 guys could have covered up, right? And they sat there and waiting and waiting and waiting, and it was like, oh my Lord!
It was like they were hypnotized.
The only excuse I've heard.
I heard a great line.
The only excuse I heard from
them. I heard a great line. Let me go, Spags.
Okay, go ahead.
I heard a great line. They said they thought when they were competing in curling.
Yeah,
that was the best line.
They just didn't have a broom, right, to keep the ball.
They just didn't have the brooms.
Tony Gonzalez.
They were trying to blow it foul.
Tony Gonzalez said on the postgame show that he goes, the only excuse I could even come remotely to give them is that they didn't think it was going to make 10 yards, so it didn't matter. And it's like, well, okay, but still, it was almost stopped. All you had to do was fall on it. I don't think I've ever seen one like that before.
And think about it. In fact, I thought of this. This was the first time the Cowboys have ever played a game the same day as the final round of the U.S. Open, and I thought it was fitting. It was fitting that they win the game on a perfectly lagged onside putt by Greg Zuerlein. I mean, if he had a putter out and he was putting a 70-yard putt, he could not have lagged it any better than what he did.
My goodness, I just thought it was amazing.
They're also
and see that lets you know the Falcons are just as inept or even more inept as we are, because what you saw, the failure you saw with the Falcons, that's what we were accustomed to, like especially the second half of last season. The entire second half of last season, we always had some type of debacle that led to some unusual loss on our part. So it's just good to be on the other side of it. Great to be on the other side of it.
If you go back and watch the replay of that, after Goodwin fell on it, I thought John Fossil was going to jump on the pile to cover him up. The official had to yank him off the field and get him behind him so he could come in and make the call. He was so excited. And I'm thinking, well, after two failed fake punts.
Right. He needed that. Boy, did he need that. We all needed that.
Okay, the other thing that had to happen, the Cowboys weren't in field goal range, and they came through, and I would like to let you all know that, remind you that my pick to click was a guy named CeeDee Lamb. And how about CeeDee Lamb and the way he played in this game? And how about the veteran move that he made? And he was well coached by somebody on that staff, whether receivers coach Adam Henry or whoever it was, that, okay, here's the game plan. We recover this onside kick, and now we do not want Atlanta to have the football again. We're going down to score, and so he broke the ankles of the DB that was covering him, and then he's running downfield 25 yards, and he doesn't go out of bounds.
Stayed in bounds.
He stays in bounds. He doesn't take a hit. Doesn't risk losing the football. We're in field goal range at that point. A very heady move by a rookie right there.
No, he was remarkable in the game, and and he would have had another great play if not for I guess the block they called him on. I just thought it was a real heady play on his part, and there was another tackle that they didn't
was a tough call, Spags.
Yeah,
that was such a tough call.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, it was.
But he showed
and
that the ball needs to be in his hands.
Yes.
Yep.
I like the way you had certain guys, and once again, I'm going back to defense, believe it or not. I thought Joe Thomas,
yes,
especially in the second half of the game, I thought he came through and played the way a linebacker should play. I thought his blitzes were timely.
I like him.
I thought that he read a couple of plays. I think he shot the gap on his own a couple of times that led to some big losses, timely losses for the Falcons offense. So I just had to give him some love because I saw a different type of play out there. You saw a guy shooting the gaps. You saw a guy making plays. You saw a guy that made some big plays that made a difference in the game.
Ended up with 12 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss, and 1 quarterback hit. As quiet it was kept. Jalen on the game stats had 13 tackles. He had 12. So, yeah, awfully good game for him filling in for Leighton Vander Esch.
And then I'll throw out Dalton Schultz, too.
Yes.
I really like, outside of the fumble, I really like the way Dalton Schultz plays. And I think the Cowboys, there's no wish you had Blake Jarwin because of his threat downfield, but I like Schultz a lot. And Blake Bell had a couple of catches, too.
I talked about it last week. I think Schultz is just as athletic as Jarwin. I really do. He just hadn't had his opportunities yet. Jarwin may be a bit more athletic, but I don't think we'll see much of a drop-off for this season. Schultz is going to be big for us. You just wait and see.
9 catches for 88 yards.
As a blocker.
Yep.
I like the way he's built. He's got the length as a blocker, and he's got a toughness about him.
Yes,
and Blake Bell, as a blocking tight end, as a second tight end, I think Blake Bell is a good addition to this
even though
team.
it was called back, I just thought that was an amazing catch by him. And his hunger to continue to keep going down the field, look forward to the block by CeeDee. He kind of read that well. CeeDee came in, I thought, just in time and perfectly. I wish they could have kept the tack on in regards to Bell's reception, but I really enjoyed how he stepped up to the moment. We needed everybody at that time.
He ended up playing 40% of the snaps. Bell did. Right. So from a 2 tight end situation. That was working. That's why I think if people watch this game, all right, Jarwin's hurt. Okay, who can we go get? Well, sometimes you just got to rely on the guys you have. They're there for a reason, and give them a chance. Schultz, and not everybody's a rookie of the year.
There's a reason they kept McKeon, too.
Yes, absolutely.
There's a reason they kept Sean McKeon, too, because they could have exposed him to waivers and might have got him to the practice squad, but they liked him enough to keep a 4th tight end. All right, We're just that flew by, and we've got so much more to get to tomorrow here on Mick Shots. So much to even break down from that game, and we'll start paying some attention to the Seattle Seahawks as well. It's a big game coming up, but wow, what a much-needed win that was on Sunday over the Falcons. All right, we'll see you again tomorrow here on Mick Shots.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!